This is Rebel Talon here with my tutorial video. So today, what I'm going to be doing is a beginner's tutorial on using Hwoarang. Basically, just going to go over like 20, 30 something moves. Nothing major. That's not even half of his move list. And explain its properties, why it's good, try to improve your ground game as well as your juggling, pokes, and counters, and stuff like that. So before I can get into that, I have to talk about the numbers. There's moves like up, back, forward, and down. Obviously up, if you hold up, you're going to jump. If you tap up, you're going to sidestep. That's usually indicated with a U. Back would be walking away from your opponent or guarding, if you will. And hit back twice and backdash. Hold back. And that's usually indicated with a B. Then there's forward. There's actually a few different things. You just hit forward and walk forward. You can tap forward, kind of mix in some distance. If you want to avoid running, just like sidestep. Which is actually really good for keeping yourself busy. All those people doing like backdashes and stuff like that. Basically just a slower version of it. Back, down, forward, down. You got your down, which if you tap it, you're gonna sidestep to foreground or towards yourself. And then if you hold it, you're gonna it's good for blocking lows and avoiding getting grabbed. And then you have the 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1 is going to be square on PlayStation and X on Xbox. 2 is going to be your triangle on PlayStation and your Y on Xbox. 3 is going to be your X on PlayStation and your A on Xbox. Or 4 is going to be your circle on PlayStation and B on Xbox. You might hear somebody say something like 3 plus 4. That just means you're going to hit both A and B or X and circle at the same time. I hear somebody say 3 bracket 4, or it just means you want to hit 2 buttons really fast, almost simultaneously, but not at the same time. I hear somebody say forward, neutral. Basically, that's when you hit forward, stop touching buttons for a quick second. As you guys can see at the bottom, I'm doing my chain kicks. And I'm not hitting forward or A at the same time. That's basically what neutral would be. So technically this notation to actually explain it would be forward, neutral, 3, neutral, forward, neutral, 3, neutral, forward, neutral, 3. I'm not going to keep saying stuff like that. Kind of watch the command list at the bottom of the screen and you'll catch on. As you guys can see at the top, I do have Rage on, and I do have it so my character will block, my opponent will block anything that isn't a natural combo. And he'll block for like a couple seconds before he stops blocking. So basically, this is basically to take some time to show everybody a little bit about Hwoarang. He actually has a really good background. He originally joined the Tekken tournament to avenge whom he thought to be dead mentor, who was Baek-doo-san. He ended up drawing in a fight against Jin, where he eventually actually beats Jin, and I want to say it's Tekken 5. So technically, and according to tournament standards, period, Hwoarang is the only character in Tekken period to have beaten Jin in a fight technically. Which, if you would remember, I believe it was 6, and Jin comes back as Devil Jin and blows up Hwoarang's motorcycle in his devil form, and that's when Hwoarang learns that Jin had a devil form. Basically, in Tekken 7, he's basically out to show Jin that he's just as strong as him, if not stronger, without the devil form. A really good story. I like it. A lot of people think Hwoarang hates Jin, but the fact of the matter is he actually has a strong respect for Jin. Up until he blew him up in devil form. After that, I really don't know. It looks like he just has something to prove at this point. It feels like he has something to prove. He feels he was cheated out of his win, and that. And now I believe this is honestly one of the stronger Hwoarangs they've had so far. They did take a lot of moves out, but there were a bunch of moves that I never really used anyways. Nobody ever really did. But that's okay. So that's pretty much it. You have it. So now you have Hwoarang's stances, and he has technically he has 6 stances, but has 4 stances that you typically use. One you're seeing him now is left foot forward. No matter what stance you're in, which typically the only other stance you're going to be in if you're moving around is right foot forward. If you walk back or you walk forward or you get punched, whether it gets blocked or not, or you duck, go back turned and you duck, he's pretty much always going to go back to his left foot forward. Even if with his back turned, he does go back to left foot forward, back turn. So this is going to be your general stance. This is like more of his defensive and tricky stance. This is the one where while your move is going to go into play, and he's actually one of the very few characters I know who has the Mishima crouch dash movement without actually being Mishima, which I actually thought that was really cool. I like to do a lot of while rising moves. But we're not going to get into that. So let's go ahead and start talking about some of the moves. You shouldn't do these moves in an actual Hwoarang fight, even though they look cool or they seem easy. I didn't even write these down because I pretty much already know what I like, what I don't think should be used. So first off, you have his back 3. That's his main launcher. I don't think that one should be used because it's minus 17 on block. That means if this Hwoarang right here blocks it, by the time I recover, he can do the same launcher and he hits me whether I... Now he gets a full combo on me. And that's not something you want. Generally, you would want something much safer. And I do have some launchers to show you guys here in a moment. That would be a much safer option. I'm not saying back 3 is bad. I use it a lot, actually. It's just until you get to a point where you're comfortable enough to know the risks of doing it, try not to. But then he has his 4-4-4 string. I'd say up to the third 4 is okay. They're all highs, and the first 2 are natural on their own. But like you can string them into combos. However, I don't think the 4-4-4-4 string is any good because they're all highs. And I think it's like -4 on block. So it's an all high string that can be ducked, and it's -4. You do have your 4-4-3 and your 4-4-4-3. Those aren't really any better. It does force crouch, so it kind of limits their movement. I think it's like -9. So 4-4-3 would be a best option as far as making sure you couldn't get punished. But 4-4-4-3 might be pushing your luck. That's still -9. Have your 3-3 string. I see a lot of Hwoarang users use this. Don't use this. You know what? The only reason I don't like this is because they took away the ability to go down here. You know, it was Tekken Tag 2, and before you could do 3-3 down 3, and that was good. That was cool because then you had like 3 different options to trick your opponent. But now it's just 3-3-3, which is like minus. It's more than -10. Bad. It is good to whip out every now and again though. Just because, say I'm pressuring my opponent and I notice they try to attack every now and again. If this hits on counter, if that second hit hits on counter, it will go through. The cool part about this is that if that last hit does make contact, you get a free 4-3 neutral 3. Some pretty beefy damage, but there is a safer option, which I'll show you guys later. Doesn't it work? Safer option, and that one's like +5 on block, so it's better regardless. And there's other options too. You don't have to do the 4-3 neutral 3 that I was doing. It's just a general idea. Let's see here. Back 1. This one's really good for evading, but it's a -3. It's -13 on block, so I wouldn't really use this often. And it has no range. I'm like right there. There's no range. So that's not really any good, I don't think. For a punch, that's a bad poke. Do that in left flamingo as well. The only thing that this is really good for is if you're fighting against somebody who's really aggressive. That would be a way to kind of tell them to back off. It does what, almost 20 damage on its own. But at the end of this tutorial, you guys are going to have so many options. That isn't going to be one of them. Hopefully, you guys won't want to. And then, honestly, aside from a couple things, I really wouldn't focus on right flamingo too much. Only because it's a little bit more of an aggressive stance. But there's only like maybe 12, somewhere between 12 and 20 moves. And the only lows he has out of this that would be valuable, I think the safest one is like -23. And that's his safest one in right flamingo. So that one's more for like poking. And I got like 7 moves that you guys can use in right flamingo that you guys should be able to use. We'll get into that later. So without further ado, let's go ahead and just get straight into his moves. First off, I want to talk about his rage moves. He has